In the age of ancient demons, when heaven and earth were ruled by slaughter and reincarnation, was stained with blood. Fate never moved gently. Every step forward was paid for with death. Every breakthrough was forged through despair. When an ancient demon awakened, the world trembled. When a cultivator chose to defy it, the heavens fell silent. This was not a battle of strength, nor was it a struggle of good and evil. It was the collision of two paths, one born from eternal domination, the other carved out through endless slaughter. And at the center of it all stood a man who had already crossed the point of no return. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Crunch. Wang Lin did not fly. Instead, he walked step by step toward the capital of the fire demon country. His white-robed figure resembled a wandering soul drifting alone within the boundless grey fog, eerily out of place, yet perfectly fused with the desolation around him. His hair fluttered softly as he advanced through the mist. With every step he took, the crunching sound echoed, breaking the deathly silence. The city concealed within the fog was unbearably empty. It was difficult to imagine that 100 years ago, this place had once possessed a population no smaller than that of the Sky Demon country's capital. Yet now it was utterly lifeless. To the 9 ancient demons, the people of their nations were nothing more than beings. They had enlightened mere tools meant to aid in their recovery. Even if every last citizen were to perish, not the slightest ripple would form in their hearts. Everyone within the Fire Demon country's capital, from the Demon Emperor down to the lowest commoner, had been dispatched to the battlefield. There they became lifeless corpses strewn across the land, their blood soaking into the earth and dyeing it a deep, gruesome red. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he continued forward one step after another. The ancient demon seal began 5 kilometers away from the capital. This seal was incomparably powerful, one of the ancient demon's means of self-preservation. Even the commander-in-chiefs of the other demon nations were incapable of breaking it. Aside from other ancient demons, only cultivators of terrifying strength possessed the qualification to shatter such a seal. Ancient demon. Bei Lo once said that once the capital was emptied, the ancient demon would seal the city to prevent all intrusion. That is why the first point of our agreement was to break this seal. Wang Lin stopped before the screen of demonic spiritual energy and slowly raised his right hand. A flicker of black light gathered at his fingertip as he extended it forward. The instant his finger touched the demonic screen, a violent rebounding force erupted. His finger was knocked back and a numbing sensation surged through it, spreading rapidly along his tendons. Wang Lin circulated the celestial spiritual energy within his body, and the numbness quickly dissipated. "So it truly is formidable," he murmured. At that moment, a powerful divine sense burst forth from the capital. Accompanying it was a thunderous roar capable of shaking one's origin soul to its core. SCRAM. The voice rolled across the land like heavenly thunder, its deafening echoes crashing violently within Wang Lin's ears. Wang Lin's right hand formed an extremely peculiar seal. Upon closer inspection, it radiated demonic spiritual energy. As the roar descended upon him, it vanished instantly as if erased from existence. "Bei Luo, you were sent by Bei Luo." The vicious divine sense from within the capital roared again, brimming with fury. Wang Lin ignored it. He took a deep breath and murmured softly, "Ancient demon Bei Luo, this is the first part of our agreement. Please watch closely." He raised his right hand and pointed toward the heavens. His gaze turned icy as he spoke in a low voice. "Slaughter energy gather." The words were neither loud nor thunderous, nor did they seem capable of stirring heaven and earth. Yet these 5 simple words ignited a terrifying storm throughout the Fire Demon country. On the northern battlefield, demon soldiers from both factions suddenly trembled. From their bodies burst forth thick strands of killing intent, capable of piercing the heavens, surging upward before vanishing into the distance. "The ancestor has arrived." Their faces filled with wild excitement. They immediately ceased fighting and withdrew from the battlefield. On the southern battlefield, Countless figures clad in black robes swept through the chaos. Dense killing intent clung to them as they slaughtered demon soldiers in their path, reducing them to strands of grey mist that were swiftly absorbed. The demon generals on both sides had long since grown accustomed to these mysterious figures. They came and went without a trace, their allegiance unknown. Even when surrounded, the price to eliminate them was often far too great. But now those black-robed figures suddenly trembled, ecstasy flashing in their eyes. They swiftly retreated, and as they departed, powerful strands of slaughter energy escaped from their bodies and vanished beyond the horizon. This scene unfolded simultaneously across countless regions of the fire demon country. The sky was soon filled with streaks of grey mist, each one containing unimaginable slaughter energy as they tore through the heavens. At this moment, it was as though the entire world had been submerged in slaughter, the air turning cold enough to pierce bone and soul alike. All warring factions within the fire demon country halted their battles. They stared upward at the sky, eyes filled with uncertainty and confusion. Over the past 100 years, not only had numerous soul-refining tribe members hidden among the demon soldiers, but even many of the generals on both sides belonged to the tribe. Now countless demon generals trembled as strands of slaughter energy escaped from the tops of their heads and vanished. After losing this energy, they immediately employed their own methods to flee. For a century, the fire demon country had known nothing but war. Today's spectacle shocked every fortunate survivor. The sky was no longer blue. It had turned grey. Countless strands of slaughter energy surged upward, converging upon the capital of the fire demon country. 100,000 strands of slaughter energy rushed toward Wang Lin from all directions. Roaring sounds filled the skies above the capital as Wang Lin stood at the center of an enormous vortex, the slaughter energy howling as it closed in. These strands were far more vigorous than those from 100 years ago. The accumulated slaughter over a century had nourished them to the brink of solidification. Split, a trace of red light flickered within Wang Lin's eyes. The heart of slaughter fused with slaughter energy, forming the core of the path of slaughter. With a single word, the 100,000 strands of slaughter energy instantly divided into 200,000 strands. But it did not end there. They split again, and again, and again. In an instant, the world was engulfed in dense grey mist. Not fog, but slaughter energy itself, a perfect fusion of slaughter intent and the heart of slaughter. 100,000 strands multiplied into 1 million. They could have continued to divide, but Wang Lin had only achieved minor completion in the celestial slaughter art. 1 million was his absolute limit. This was precisely why he had refrained from personally participating in the slaughter, instead allowing the soul-refining tribe to nurture the slaughter energy on his behalf. Break. Wang Lin's hair danced wildly as he pointed at the screen of demonic spiritual energy. 1 million strands of slaughter energy descended upon the seal like a torrential downpour. The method to break the ancient demon's seal did not rely on striking a single point. Instead, countless nodes were distributed across the seal, and all of them had to be attacked simultaneously for it to shatter. If the power was insufficient, the attempt would be meaningless. However, Wang Lin's 1 million strands of slaughter energy had been nourished for an entire century. The might contained within this technique was nothing short of terrifying. It could be said that after reaching minor completion in the celestial slaughter art, this spell had replaced the Finger of Death. It had become one of Wang Lin's 3 ultimate killing moves. Alongside the demonic finger, while clad in the devil armor and the underworld river. As for the stop spell, it was Wang Lin's life-saving trump card. After testing it twice, he had chosen to conceal it completely. Only when no one knew of its existence could it truly save his life at a critical moment. 1 million strands of slaughter energy descended like a torrential rainstorm. Violent collision sounds erupted from the demonic screen surrounding the fire demon country's capital. At this instant, it was as though 1 million sword strikes were crashing into it simultaneously. Breath after breath passed, and the impact sounds continued without pause. The demonic screen began to tremble violently. Wang Lin stood outside the screen, his expression calm and indifferent as he coldly observed everything. Before long, cracks appeared on the demonic screen. They spread rapidly, webbing across its surface until bang, the entire screen collapsed. The 1 million strands of slaughter energy surged into the capital, instantly engulfing it in dense grey mist. With the demonic screen shattered, Wang Lin stepped inside. At that moment, a violent storm of demonic spiritual energy erupted from the Demon Valley at the center of the capital. It surged skyward and condensed into a massive purple cloud. As the cloud churned, it transformed into the shadow of a double-horned demon. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light as it hovered in the air, gazing down at Wang Lin as though staring at an insignificant ant. "Lowly cultivator," the shadow spoke, its voice sounding as though it came from the 9th level of hell, distorted and erratic. "Even with Beiluo's protection, since you dared to destroy my demonic screen, you will undoubtedly die." The demonic shadow waved its hand, and the heavens changed instantly. The capital vanished. In its place appeared a world drenched in red from raging flames. The ground became a sea of molten magma. The blazing light from the fire dyed even the sky crimson. Explosions echoed endlessly as scorching air burst from the ground. The hot currents twisted into illusions, and in the blink of an eye, hundreds of phantasmal figures appeared around the ancient demon. Wang Lin raised his right hand. The 1 million strands of slaughter energy instantly surged back into his body, transforming into life seals between his eyebrows. In moments, 1 million life seals spread across his entire body. He slapped his bag of holding, and the devilish armor flew out. It transformed into black silk that wrapped tightly around him before solidifying into ferocious black armor. His face was concealed, leaving only his cold eyes visible. Long hair streamed behind him as he stepped forward and floated into the air. After a brief pause, he charged forward. The ancient demon's shadow twisted into a ferocious expression and let out a thunderous roar, unleashing countless spells to halt Wang Lin's advance. Wang Lin's gaze grew colder. He accelerated instead. At the same time, the finger of death appeared in his right hand, shooting forward like a bolt of black lightning. As for the shadow's attacks, Wang Lin ignored them completely. Even when spells struck his body, they were instantly blocked by the devilish energy of the black armor. Moreover, with 1 million life seals protecting him, these attacks were meaningless. He moved like lightning, rushing straight toward the colossal ancient demon formed from the purple cloud. The ancient demon sneered mockingly. "The devilish armor of a scattered devil beneath an ancient devil," he said coldly. "Yet you lack a devil's heart. It is nothing but a waste in your hands." He opened his mouth and roared. Dense demonic spiritual energy surged forth, crashing toward Wang Lin. A sharp glint flashed through Wang Lin's eyes as he pointed forward and spoke calmly. "Devil transformation." The devilish armor seemed to respond with excitement. Countless strands of devilish energy poured from the armor into Wang Lin's body through his mouth and nose, circulating rapidly before surging into his finger. At this moment, Wang Lin was engulfed in devilish energy, his hair wildly flowing as if he had truly transformed into a devil. This was the peak of his power, while wearing the black armor and undergoing devil transformation. Devilish winds howled forth, and the devilish energy shone like a distorted rainbow. Wang Lin's attack pierced straight through the ancient demon's sound-based assault. The mockery in the ancient demon's eyes remained. Facing the incoming devilish wind, he opened his mouth and swallowed it whole. Smacking his lips, he said calmly, "Not bad. This devilish energy can be considered pure." Wang Lin's expression did not change. At this moment, he was only 1,000 feet away from the ancient demon. With a single step, he closed the distance by another 100 feet. A strange light flickered in the ancient demon's eyes. He suddenly moved, releasing a massive surge of demonic energy from his body. Containing his divine sense, the energy enveloped the 1,000-foot radius around him, and a terrifying pressure descended. Cracking sounds echoed from within Wang Lin's body as the devilish energy surrounding him dissipated. He took a deep breath and said calmly, "Dao transformation." An underworld river forced its way into the area, forming a path beneath Wang Lin's feet. The river coiled around him, and the power of reincarnation flooded the surroundings. His steps remained steady as he advanced another 100 feet. The ancient demon snorted coldly and swung his hand, transforming it into a claw filled with dense demonic spiritual energy. The devilish energy from the armor instantly withdrew back into Wang Lin's body. At the same time, the 1,000,000 strands of slaughter energy burst into dazzling brilliance. Wang Lin roared. Instead of retreating, he charged forward and collided directly with the ancient demon's claw. Boom! A heaven-shaking explosion rang out. The ancient demon's right hand was blasted upward. As for Wang Lin, more than 700,000 life seals shattered, but instantly reformed. He took another step, crossing yet another 100 feet. The mockery in the ancient demon's eyes vanished, replaced by chilling, killing intent. Before he had merely been playing with Wang Lin, but now as Wang Lin continued to close in, a sense of unease rose within him. Bei Luo must have his own intention for sending this person, the ancient demon thought, killing intent flashing through his eyes. He was reluctant to use ancient demon spells, they drained him heavily each time. But now he had no choice. Demon spell, devil slaughter. The ancient demon formed seals. Strands of demonic spiritual energy transformed into swirling vortexes and burst from his body. The magma-covered ground began to boil violently. Streams of scorching air surged upward, gathering before the ancient demon until a massive lance condensed. The lance burned crimson, radiating intense demonic energy and terrifying heat. The moment it appeared, a powerful sense of crisis surged in Wang Lin's heart. His eyes brightened. Yet he did not stop. He stepped forward another 100 feet, then touched the space between his eyebrows and pointed ahead, speaking softly. 1,000,000 strands of slaughter energy fuse into one. The 1,000,000 life seals were drawn out by his finger, merging rapidly until only a single strand remained. Even someone like the All-Seer would be shaken by the amount of slaughter energy contained within that single strand of grey gas. The energy gathered at Wang Lin's fingertip. He stepped forward once more. Now he stood within 500 feet of the ancient demon. The moment he crossed that boundary, his eyes shone brightly. He began chanting an incomparably complex incantation while forming a seal with his left hand. This seal had been given to him by ancient demon Bei Luo. Their agreement was simple: break the demonic screen. Then use this seal after entering within 500 feet of the other ancient demon. Once these steps were completed, the majority of the agreement would be fulfilled. After all, defeating an ancient demon was impossible with Wang Lin's strength alone. This war had only occurred to empty the Fire Demon country's capital. Without the protection of its people, Wang Lin could approach within 500 feet. The moment the seal formed in his left hand, the blood within Wang Lin's body surged violently. He coughed up a large mouthful of blood as cracking sounds echoed throughout his body, and a mist of blood erupted around him. For the first time, the ancient demon's expression changed drastically. Staring at the blood mist, his face turned solemn. "This blood contains the aura of an ancient god," he said gravely. "So that is how it is." The blood mist rapidly condensed, forming a blood figure. At the same time, an overwhelmingly tyrannical divine sense descended upon it. The blood figure opened its eyes. At that instant, every living being in the Fire Demon country felt a sudden, inexplicable anxiety rise in their hearts. Though few understood the truth, helplessness and fear spread uncontrollably. The expressions of the ancient demons in the other 7 countries changed simultaneously. Their eyes lit up as they all turned toward the Fire Demon country's capital. The Fire Demon country's ancient demon spoke slowly, his voice heavy. "Your luck is extraordinary to find a cultivator bearing the aura of an ancient god. His blood, combined with the divine sense linking you two, allows you to manifest for a prolonged period, and even leave the restriction of the Sky Demon country." Bei Luo's calm voice echoed from the blood figure. "We have been separated for far too long. If this continues, we will be destroyed one by one. Once we fuse, we shall be reborn as a brand new ancient demon. A chilling intent filled his words. As for the remaining 7, I will devour them one by one. The blood shadow moved. It charged straight toward the demonic shadow, and thick demonic spiritual energy surged out from its body. The energy ignited into raging demonic flames that swallowed the surroundings, completely obscuring everything within. Outside the flames, Wang Lin had already lost the majority of his blood and was extremely weak. However, the ancient demon's lance spell did not stop. It was only momentarily hindered by the demonic flames before continuing its charge toward Wang Lin. The lance howled through the air. Slaughter energy condensed at Wang Lin's fingertip as he pressed it directly against the tip of the lance without the slightest hesitation. A terrifying explosive force surged from the lance into Wang Lin's arm, Feng Kuang consuming the slaughter energy within him. At the same time, the slaughter energy poured into the lance, violently eroding and destroying it from within. A series of thunderous explosions rang out, as if lightning were crashing repeatedly between Wang Lin and the ancient demon. When the 1,000,000 strands of slaughter energy were on the verge of collapse, Wang Lin's eyes suddenly shone. He withdrew his finger and retreated several feet. The slaughter energy was given a brief moment to recover, and its boundless power surged once more, allowing Wang Lin to regain a sliver of strength. He reached out again. His finger struck the lance once more. This cycle repeated again and again as Wang Lin retreated over 1,000 feet. At last, the power of the lance weakened completely and was finally shattered by a strand of devilish energy released by Wang Lin. Wang Lin's face was deathly pale. Having lost an enormous amount of blood, his breathing was ragged and heavy. Yet he did not pause to recover. Instead, he turned and fled at full speed. His destination, the Demon Valley at the center of the capital. The first step had been to shatter the demonic screen surrounding the capital. The second step was to approach within 500 feet of the ancient demon, borrowing its aura to summon Bei Lu's blood shadow. The third step was to enter the ancient demon's hiding place and seize the item imprisoning its soul. Wang Lin had no intention of watching the battle between the two ancient demons within the demonic fog. Moving like a bolt of lightning, he charged straight into the holy land of the fire demon country, the Demon Valley. The valley was eerily silent. Deep within it stood a massive statue overflowing with demonic spiritual energy. Vast streams of that energy surged upward, feeding the ancient demon as it battled Bei Lu. Wang Lin took a step forward, then abruptly stopped. A ripple spread outward from the statue. As it expanded, the demonic spiritual energy, rising into the sky, abruptly halted. The energy condensed, forming an ancient demon avatar, the same size as Wang Lin. The avatar bore 2 horns and floated in mid-air. Strands of demonic spiritual energy streamed behind it, connecting directly to the statue. Its eyes glowed with a deep, sinister demonic light as it stared coldly at Wang Lin. Wang Lin examined the avatar and retreated slightly after a moment of thought. Though it was merely an avatar, it was still extremely powerful. Without using Ling Tianhu's sword energy, Wang Lin knew he stood no chance. At that moment, Bei Lu's voice echoed within Wang Lin's mind. Wang Lin, destroy that statue and help me merge with it. If you do, you will no longer need to assist me in merging with the remaining 7 ancient demons. As for everything I promised you, I will fulfill it immediately after the fusion. Didn't you desire the comprehension of the ancient demon inheritance? Destroy the statue. When I fuse with it, I will bring your divine sense with me. It will be as though you obtained 2 inheritances at once, an immeasurable benefit. I have already saved you twice from life and death. I ask only this in return. Wang Lin, help me. Wang Lin fell silent, then sighed softly. Setting aside all the promised benefits, the fact alone that Bei Lu had saved him twice was enough. Wang Lin's eyes turned cold. He guided one strand of Ling Tianhu's sword energy to his fingertip. A golden glow burst forth, illuminating the entire Demon Valley. The ancient demon avatar grew solemn. It raised both hands and traced symbols through the air. Countless demonic runes appeared, radiating dense demonic spiritual energy. Wang Lin inhaled deeply, no longer hesitating. He released Ling Tianho's sword energy. In an instant, the demon valley was flooded with sword energy. The demonic spiritual energy collapsed under its overwhelming might. Ling Tianho's tyrannical sword intent erupted, forming a violent storm that swept across the valley. Crackling sounds filled the air as countless fissures tore through the space itself. The sky was filled with sword energy. Demonic spiritual energy was shredded apart. The symbols formed by the ancient demon avatar shone brightly. Thin black lightning linked them together, forming a net that attempted to block the sword energy's advance. However, the fire demon country's ancient demon was devoting most of his divine sense to fighting Bei Lu. The avatar he left behind possessed strength, comparable only to a late-stage ascendant cultivator. Without Ling Tianhu's sword energy, this would have been a hopeless battle. But with it, Wang Lin was unstoppable. The sword energy surged forward in a dazzling golden blaze. The moment it touched the symbols, they shattered one after another. The sword energy pierced through and charged directly at the avatar. The avatar's expression changed drastically. It transformed into a mass of demonic spiritual energy and surged forward desperately, enveloping the sword energy. Sword hymns echoed within the dense demonic mist. Wang Lin stepped forward. When his foot landed, he stood before the statue. Without hesitation, he pressed his right hand against it. Stop! Two thunderous roars arrived simultaneously, one from the heavens, the other from within the demonic fog trapping the sword energy. A colossal hand descended from the sky at an astonishing speed. At the same time, the demonic fog condensed into the head of an ancient demon that lunged forward, attempting to devour Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes blazed. The celestial spiritual energy within him activated instantly. As the hand and head, closed in his celestial energy, surged into the statue. Cracking sounds erupted. Deep fractures spread across the statue as massive amounts of demonic spiritual energy poured out. At that moment, Ling Tianho's sword energy burst free from the fog, pierced straight through the demon head, then descended upon the statue at Wang Lin's command. Boom! The statue shattered completely. The massive hand vanished instantly, followed by an unwilling roar echoing from the heavens. Shortly after the sounds of clashing spells rang out, Bei Lu had fully restrained the ancient demon. As the statue collapsed, dense demonic spiritual energy surged outward. Within it, Wang Lin saw a fragment of a hand bone. His eyes lit up. He reached out and grasped it. The instant his hand touched the bone, an unimaginable force surged into his body and slammed directly into his origin soul. His origin soul trembled violently, and he was pulled into a mysterious space. There was no sky, no earth, only endless void. Yet a strange refining force permeated the area. As Wang Lin's consciousness settled within it, a sense of sublimation continuously rose. Scenes appeared before him, countless moments from the spells he had learned throughout his life. One scene showed a very young boy lifting a massive stone with a trembling hand, his eyes filled with excitement. The scene collapsed. The boy stepped out, smiled faintly at Wang Lin, and sat beside him, his hand still unconsciously circulating the attraction spell. Another scene showed a cold-faced youth with flowing hair. When his eyes opened, boundless killing intent erupted. Before him, countless core formation cultivators died as their cores shattered. That youth stepped out and sat down as well, G-realm killing intent surging faintly around him. Scenes of Wang Lin using the finger of death, the demonic finger, and the underworld river followed. Each Wang Lin stepped out and took a seat. Then, a scene appeared that shook Wang Lin to his core. A Wang Lin clad in grey robes, surrounded by 1,000,000 strands of slaughter energy. Wherever he walked, destruction followed. He sensed Wang Lin's gaze, and turned to look at him. His eyes were completely grey. All the Wang Lins emerged and scattered. Some cultivated in silence. Some demonstrated spells. One was even using the Stop Celestial spell. Wang Lin was deeply shaken. He recognized this scene. Long ago, when choosing a spell from the All-Seer, he had witnessed something similar, each All-Seer wielding a different spell. But he quickly noticed the difference. The All-Seer's manifestations were solid, indistinguishable from real beings. His own manifestations were not. They were neither fully corporeal nor fully illusory. Corporeal, yet incorporeal, Wang Lin murmured. Could it be a transformation that occurs at the peak of the first step, just before entering the illusory yin and corporeal yang stage? The ancient demon inheritance allowed me to experience this in advance. He inhaled deeply. Before he could contemplate further, the figures began to fade. The fastest to disappear was the grey-robed Wang Lin practicing the celestial slaughter art. At that instant, Wang Lin seized the opportunity. His body surged forward and fused with the grey-robed figure. The celestial slaughter art became one with him. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.